I forgot to do one example of actually creating a sign chart before we do all the factoring and finding the critical values, so I thought I'd go through it really quickly. The key with a sign chart is that all I care about is the sign, whether it's positive or negative. I do not care whether it's a -7 or a -11 or a -100. I care about the answer being a sign. So what we're doing is we're choosing any, if I have -2 as a critical value here, I need to choose any number that is less than -2. I'm going to choose -100. So if I had -100 and I'm substituting it in for x right here, -100 minus 4 would be -104. I don't care that it's -104. I care that my answer to that question is negative. And really, if I had chosen anything less than -2, I would get out a negative answer. Try doing -3. That would give me -7. The point is, if I plug something in less than -2 to x minus 4, I will get a negative out. So now I'm going to plug in that same number to the bottom one. So that would be -100 plus 2, which would be -98. So what is all that I care about? The negative. The fact that that's negative. And then we have stuff that's factored. So way up here I would have had x minus 4 times x plus 2. We just found out if I plug in anything less than -2, for the first thing it's going to be a negative. If I plug in anything less than -2 to the x plus 2, I get a negative. That's why we're multiplying right here. Negative times a negative gives me a positive on the bottom of my sign chart. Now I'm going to move to a number in between -2 and 4. If 0 is between my two numbers, I love choosing 0 because it requires less brain power. So I'm going to plug in 0. So 0 minus 4 would give me a negative number. I don't care that it's -4. All that I care about is that it was negative. Now we're going to go plug it into the second factor. 0 plus 2. That gives me a positive 2, but do I care that it's 2? No, I just care that it's positive. And now we've factored it up there, so we're multiplying. A negative number times a positive number will give me a negative number. Now we're going to choose something bigger than 4. I'm going to choose positive 100. 100 minus 4 equals 96. But what kind of 96 is that? It's a positive 96. What if I plug it into the second factor? That would be 100 plus 2. What kind of number is that? Positive. And then a positive times a positive will always give me a positive. If you don't believe me, try some other numbers. If I plugged in, 7 is gross, but let's do 7. 7 minus 4 would be 3, which is still positive. 7 plus 2 equals 9, which is still positive. So all we're looking for is signs, signs, signs. All I care about is the sign of my answer for a sign chart. And that's because we've factored this. And what we're doing is we're seeing what kind of numbers do I get out in my first factor at certain places. What kind of numbers do I get when I plug in things to my second factor? And therefore what happens when I multiply different signs of numbers. Positive, positive, negative, positive, negative, negative. What do I get out? So that I can answer questions about inequalities. Because if I'm dealing with something greater than 0, I'm talking about positive numbers. So I'm talking about these two places. If it's positive. If I say less than 0, I'm talking about negative numbers, which is going to happen in the in-between interval. And we'll talk about some other patterns that happen with this that will make these sign charts go really, really fast. But we'll talk about that next class.